Every once in a while, I get incredibly inspired to make a YouTube video, and today's is like the most inspired I've ever felt to make a YouTube video. That's because I was watching a YouTube video. This is Inception at this point, and the topic was very interesting. He kind of set the premise as what YouTube filmmaking hasn't taught me, or what they've failed to teach me, I think was the technical framing of his sentence or his video. It was YouTube filmmaking has failed to teach me. And I recently put out a YouTube video about how YouTube filmmaking kind of isn't filmmaking most of the time. Like sometimes it is, but like the cinematography side of YouTube filmmaking has utterly failed. And so I was like, I want to see if somebody else is thinking the same way I'm thinking. And so I watched the video, and in all honesty, he started going directly after cinema lenses. And I was like, whoa, this is not where I expected this to go. I hadn't even thought about what he was saying, to be honest, because I'm a business owner, so I think very much in terms of business. And he was talking about how many used cinema lenses, including the one I'm shooting on right now, which is a Blazar Remus, one I have back there, are listed on eBay. Blazar Remus certainly aren't the most like budget cinema lens. Like they're not that common on eBay, I'll be honest, but there are a lot that are, especially from Surrey, SLR Magic, 7 Artisans, TT Artisans. There are a ton of used, really like low budget, low quality cinema lenses. And his point was very much to the effect of, we've been tricked into buying all this gear. And honestly, if you've been tricked into buying gear, that's on you. I'm gonna be straight. That's my take. That wasn't quite his take, but that's my take. You know, don't get tricked into things. That's on you. Do your research. Listen to what cinematographers have to say if you're gonna buy a cinema lens. I feel like that's fair. Don't listen to a YouTuber, listen to a cinematographer. But the point in making this video is to not only spread that awareness, and I'm gonna link that video down below. Please go watch that. That junk was, I didn't quite finish it, but I saw enough that it made me wanna make this video. And so now I'm gonna branch off of that video and kind of go into my own topic. And it's that no, you don't need gear. I'm not gonna like clickbait you. Gear is good. Like the gear does matter. If you shoot on a $100,000 Arri Alexa Mini LF setup, your image is gonna look good, but it'll be handicapped by anything that isn't as good. Think of it as like a video game. If you're playing an RPG, I like Clash Royale, so I'm gonna turn this into a Clash Royale analogy. If you just upgrade one troop over and over and over and over and over again to the point where all of your other troops are level 1 and this one troop you've upgraded is level 100, you're gonna lose. No matter how good that level 100 troop is, it cannot carry your entire playing strategy, because you have to play other characters. You have to play other troops, even if you don't play Clash Royale. I think you get my point. And it's that very simply, if your lighting isn't up to par, it's not as high of a quality as your camera, you're not gonna have great images. If your makeup, your set design, your wardrobe, your actors, I mean, literally everything. I mean, your set location, I can't tell you how important a location is. People talk all the time about, oh, I want this to be the color palette. I want this to be the grade. So we're gonna shoot with these warm lenses, and then we're gonna turn it kind of blue in the shadows, and we're gonna make it really gold in the highlights because we want to emulate, a 2383 or a film stock, some other film stock. And I'm like, that's great. If you want it to look gold, then maybe have whiter or yellowish white walls instead of wood paneling. Like that's a thing that as a filmmaker, I think about, and I don't care what kind of lenses you're shooting on, what kind of camera you're shooting on. I would much rather take a 5-year-old mirrorless camera with a 24-70 and shoot in a phenomenal location with phenomenal lighting than take that setup right there, which I love and gets me like nutty looking images. Like it looks way better than almost every camera I've ever shot with, barring like some Arri cameras. It looks better than every mirrorless camera and every Blackmagic camera I've ever shot with. But I would rather take like a Pocket Cinema 4K and go shoot something that has good lighting, good set design, good wardrobe, hair and makeup, and a good story, rather than bring that expensive gear. And in this guy's video that I was watching, I don't even remember his name. I'm so sorry. The video's linked down below though. You can go check him out. He was talking about with his short film, he shot they decided to go with like some Thypoc Chimera Cs, I think, and an FX6. And he was talking about they could have rented a Red, they could have rented an Ari, they could have put up some money for some good lenses because they had some budget. But instead, he decided to really sink it into everything else: coloring, lighting, sound design, special effects, rigging, all that good stuff. As a filmmaker, I think, oh yeah, of course that makes sense. Like the camera package is good, but you know, upgrading it much further almost like kills your film, because you're taking all this money that could be really, really well spent, because the more and more you spend on a particular thing, the less and less you get out of it. Like the difference between a $50,000 camera package and a $100,000 camera package is quite minimal. Like your average audience member absolutely won't notice it. Your average film student, and we know they analyze everything, probably won't notice it either. They won't know what camera brand you shot on, in all honesty. Like 99% of the time, that's gonna be the case. So why upgrade? Why make that jump? Is it really worth it to go from a $5,000 FX6 to a $30,000 V Raptor? And is it worth it to go from the V Raptor to an Alexa LF? Like, is that worth that jump? My take is probably not, if you're gonna spend the money you would spend on that rental on, again, lighting, sound designer, colorist, editor. Don't do it all yourself. Let other people do it who are really good at it and pay them for it. People are gonna be your big thing. And I know I'm like ranting a lot right now, but I'm gonna dive into people. Pay people. Forget the gear. Get good enough gear, make sure it can do what you need it to do. But beyond that, hire people who are good. People who are good will make crappy gear look great because they know how to expose, they know how to light, they know how to use the gear. If your gear is better than the person using it, you have poorly invested. If your gear is better than you might have poorly invested. Obviously, we want to be able to grow into the shoes we buy. As each and every one of us grows as cinematographers and filmmakers, we want to have cameras and lenses that we can grow into. But if you waste your money, you won't be able to grow into it just because you'll be so gear focused. And I think I left a comment on the video. I just found it so amazing. I was like, I got to support this. I said something to the effect of, if you are focusing more on the gear than the story, if you're more worried about, oh, how do I tell the story with gear? What gear should I get? And that's the rabbit hole your brain goes down. If you do that more than you focus on, oh my gosh, this story, it's amazing, what would best serve it? It sounds like I said the same thing back to back, doesn't it? But I didn't. The first one, and I'm gonna break it down because I think more people need to hear this, especially people who aren't used to being told what to do by directors and producers and studios and clients, and like literally having that forced down your throat, which I think is a good thing to a degree. And basically, I'm gonna say it again. You think in your head, oh, what gear best serves the story? I think this gear would work best because of this. You're thinking of, oh, I like this gear. I think it would work with this story. How can I make it work? Let me find reasons to use the gear. Bad way of thinking. Versus, I really like this scene. What would best work with this kind of scene? Is there a reason I should go with this gear? Is there a reason I shouldn't? Should I, compare contrast mood boards and see what that cinematographer used on shot deck and what my budget alternatives would be to some cheap anamorphic lenses? Or should we go with anamorphic? Or should we crop? Or should we get a camera with a wider sensor instead and shoot spherical instead of anamorphic to get that widescreen aspect ratio? Do we want a widescreen aspect ratio? So no? Oh, we want 1.85? Well, then maybe we shoot spherical instead of anamorphic. That would be much better for telling a story if we want shallow depth of field to isolate this character, but we don't want shallow depth of field for those characters. Well, are we even using shallow depth of field for most of the film? No? Okay, well then maybe we shoot on Super 35. Let's change the camera entirely. That is the kind of way of thinking that a good DP thinks. A good DP doesn't think, oh, what's the best lens? What's the best camera? What's the best gear we can use? You think, what do we need to do? What are we hoping to accomplish? And what combination of gear would help us accomplish that effectively, as close to like the ideal as possible? And third, within a budget that's reasonable, so we can take any extra budget and put it towards something else that will probably matter more. That to me is like That's the holy grail of filmmaking right there. Thinking like that. I certainly don't think like that all the time. I'm a gear junkie. I love tech. I love gear. I constantly want to be on the up and up about what's the latest this, what's the latest that. But at the end of the day, I would much rather use a cheap, crappy lens with a cheap, crappy camera and put my budget towards absolutely everything else. I'm kind of coming up on producing, we're going to produce a short film soon, my production company and another production company. More info on that in the coming weeks as we get closer. We're going to do a trailer first, which you'll see when it happens. Subscribe so you don't miss that. But I gotta plug it, guys. Basically though, I hardcore thought about renting a Blackmagic 17K 65 and the DZO Arls lenses because they work, and I hardcore thought about it because I've shot with the Pixis 6K and I've used the DZO Arls and I really like the combo, and I really wanted to do it. In my head I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this would be so cool. I was like, I'd still want a widescreen aspect ratio, but getting that 2:1 out of the 65 plus the Arls, I would just be able to do so much. Oh, it'd be great. And then I looked at my mood boards and went, nope. Super 35 and deep depth of field. In other words, we're gonna shoot at like a T4 most of the time, maybe a T5.6. That's actually the move. And I realized, you know what? As much as I love the gear, that can't be what we do. That would be a gross misuse of budget. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'd rather hire a location manager, and I'd rather hire a gaffer, and I'd rather hire an editor to do a better job than what would have gotten done otherwise had I made that decision. That's my rant. I'm done. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Like I said, go watch that other guy's video. I'm so sorry if bro's seeing this. I cannot remember your name, and I'm so sorry. I've only seen a few of your videos, but they're all great. I'll subscribe after I film this. I'll go back and subscribe, so y'all do too. Anywho, that's my little rant on not necessarily filmmaking YouTube, but what you should be thinking as a filmmaker. And don't get caught up in filmmaking YouTube. I make gear reviews, sure, you know, it's great. Listen to them, know what gear is good. That's how you make good decisions, but don't necessarily get caught up in the hype. Wait a few months then make a purchase. I think that's a wise thing to do. See how you like it. Rent for your projects if you're like a cinematographer, like for a living and you don't do other stuff, which I don't think most of us here do. So anywho, I'm done. I'm gonna stop rambling now. Till next time. Oh, if you're still here, please do like and subscribe. Also know this mic isn't connected. I got like the Hollyland little thing at the end of this, but it's nice and hidden. You don't technically see the mic. Anywho, like and subscribe.